Luckily, I don't know what size my good side, so.
Hey man, same here.
Period. Thank you.
Exactly.
Love you, Bookie.
Nah, so yeah, Rush.
Yes, sorry. Your lovely girlfriend got them for me for my nails. Well, my nails exactly what it is.
Oh, this dog went to. That's that's deep.
It is deep. That's why I was like, I'm not going back for my cards anytime soon, y'all. I was not gonna go back until I had to get my nails done again.
That's crazy. So Koi Yaya, does it matter?
Yeah, yeah.
Yaya, everybody. She's like an activist for youth in our community. So season finale for the podcast.
I'm the season finale.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm good.
You know what I'm saying? So um, you're doing a lot for the community, but like let's just start from the beginning. How did you get into like what you're doing right now? What do you do? Kind of like explain that to them, just so they can
Yeah.
follow from you.
Yeah. So being a youth activist, well, how I started, um, I was homeless a lot growing up. I was in and out of my mom's house and like group homes, and I had other people always taking care of me besides my mom, so I moved around a lot. Um, and as I got older, I got emancipated. So I kind of like knew I needed to learn the system and like learn how to be an adult from a young age. So I always had a thing for helping people. That's always been my thing. So I feel like it started when I was like around 8 or 9. There used to be um, a little food drive on Saturday in JFK Plaza. If you're in Manchester, you know what that is. And it used to be like a food drive. So I used to just go there. And like, my family needed food anyway. So I was like, oh, well, let me go there. And they were looking for volunteers. And so I started volunteering, and it's a food drive. So I was going basically food shopping for my house. Like, we didn't have money. So like a lot of it tied in with what I do now. Getting emancipated, having to learn the ins and outs of the system, like what does it mean if I'm emancipated, like learning that now at 15, because I got emancipated early, that I would have to do everything my mom was supposed to do till I was like 18. That was a lot. So that started there, and since then, like I just have been going through so much with like obviously as black people we go through oppression, but like I feel like you don't notice it till you're older because you don't really know what it is, or like passive aggressive racism and stuff. And like as you're getting older, I was like,
yeah, so I found out the hard way in middle school. Like they made sure I knew I was black.
oh my gosh, the names they called me to, like, yeah, it was a lot
Can I
of
see
that.
my pencil in your hair? Like what?
They
Yo, you're bugging, bro. Like that's crazy.
they named me Koi Fish at like a summer camp I went to because my lips were huge and I never got it. Like I never understood. And they like called me Angry Bird. I've been called Blurple before. I remember like I was swimming one day at the pool and I put sunscreen on for the first time, y'all. And it was rubbing into my skin and it literally turned purple. Like it was not messing with my skin. I was in chlorine water, and them kids, they bullied me for the cows came home. I was known as a blurple kid. And of course, we black, we get really dark in the summer. You out there swimming all day, and as kids, we always in the sun. I was black. I was as black as my jacket.
Dark.
That's
Nah, that's crazy.
Anyway, so
I never put on sunscreen again. I had my one moment with that.
Never again. I mean, as an adult now, I'm learning like what is better for my skin. You can't just put like any like banana boat sunscreen on your skin.
That's crazy. So you think though, like you realize you started from the bottom, like for what you're doing, like ground zero. Like you just started out volunteering, and then now you're here where you're at, and you even won an award. Like
yes, which they were there for that.
that's crazy. Like I don't know, I think you're really like people that do what you do is like really important for the community because like everyone goes through something, big, small, whatever. But like you're actively out there trying to help people with what they got. Like and it's crazy.
My biggest thing is like so many people our age always they have the mind to complain about it and say what's wrong about it, but they don't have the mind to step in, step up, and do something about it, be a part of the change. And that's what always just makes me so irritated and like what fuels me to do more of this, because it's like we could be going through so much worse. You could be going through so much worse, but you just have to know how to like work the system, especially as black people. We have to know how to work the system, how to go through the system, and have to learn how to live through the system, because we are what the system like is made from, like marginalized communities, you know, the unseen people, the unheard, people that are put on the back burner, people that are killed for no reason. Like, it's really important for us to be culturally connected, bring our community together, and also educated. Like, it's really important. So that was another thing that made me like know that I want to do this, is that I wanted to be more educated. Like, you hear people talk about politics all the time, and you're like, what? What's going on? I know nothing about this. Yeah. Well, I used to be a bookworm. I'm not anymore, really, but I used to be a bookworm, and I used to just read like social justice books. Used to catch up on stuff, and there's so much that the media doesn't tell you. And the sad part is that we learn a lot of this stuff on like Instagram and like Facebook and stuff, and it's just people like reacting to what's happening. So it's being passed through a bunch of people, and it's losing information and facts. Yeah. And that's why it's so important to read and get up on your current events. I understand that people are always like, "Well, I'm not into politics." Well, you should be, because the politics are in you. like they're
So to the
still
extent
in you.
like it affects you, so
It always
should
does.
at least check up on the little things. Like, yeah, definitely.
I agree. And also, like, you know, not just with like our presidential debates that happen, like, fuck that, whatever, that's what it is. We're not going to talk about it. There's a whole another thing. But, like, no, I feel like a lot of people already don't know about municipal voting as well. Mm-hmm. And that's like directly impacting us. That's like our mayor, that's like our aldermen, our school board people. So if y'all have kids, that's who's in charge of like what goes on in your kids' school. So if you don't like the way that they're doing something, like that's why you got to know who's getting put in these offices and these positions to do that. And I definitely want to be able to be one of those people that can make that decision. Like, I'm working towards that. Eventually, I'm probably gonna run for something here if I live here still. Sure. I probably, yeah.
What would you plan on running for?
School board. Yeah. School board.
That's fine.
I don't, not a big fan of kids, I'll tell you that. But high school kids is a little different, just because, like, I remember being in middle school and high school, and I feel like all I needed was somebody to be there for me. Like, these teachers, nowadays, you see these teachers on TikTok, and you're like, wow, they care about their students. Like, they don't care that they're only getting $15,000 a year. Like, but I would want to be what I wish that I could have had, because, you know, I got emancipated early, so like I was just on a bad road, just for failure. And I definitely would yeah, it would be school board.
That's fine.
I wouldn't want to do any. I might be, so in this like city hall, they have these chairmen who are always there for when you have like a school board meeting or like any type of meeting that has to do with the city that you're like bringing a problem to. They're there, they sit, they listen to your testimony, and then they rule out on it. I could totally do that too.
That's fine.
That would be nice. I don't want to be in a room. I just don't want to do it with a bunch of white people, though.
Yeah, put that in all cash, bro.
And all cash. I don't want to be there with all white
Nothing
people.
against them. It's just sometimes.
No, everything there.
That's crazy. No cap. But yeah, and I just sometimes you just be like that. You just like, yo, bro, I don't need time. I don't have time for this right now. Like all the politics. Don't have time for the politics when it comes to like getting things done. Like sometimes there's people that really need help. We really need to do things for these people. You guys just want to be like political about it. And you got to do that.
And it's like there's like a thin line between politics and then like morality. Like, I feel like, and that's not bringing up the whole election thing again, but like people that, you know, if I was friends with Trump people, you know, when he first started, and it's like, okay, I can see difference in opinion. Now, as a convicted felon and rapist, it's like, is it politics or is it morality? It's morality. Like, I can't be friends with someone who's like, he's right for us. He's a rapist.
Yeah.
He's a rapist. But our groceries are going to be lower. Our taxes are going to be lower. But that's okay if he touches my daughter because my taxes are not.
I have any tolerance for that.
See, and that's what I'm saying. It's like it's that thin line between is this really politics? Like, do you like is it really because the groceries are gonna be $15 less than what you spend already, even though you're already a big bag, so it doesn't matter. You're gonna spend $400 any damn way. Oh, our gas prices are gonna go down. But he's raping people. Your friends that are maybe immigrants or undocumented or trying to get their citizenship, they're facing mass deportation just by affiliation. But that doesn't matter to you because your groceries are going to be cheaper and you're going to be able to put more gas in your car for $4 less by the gallon.
Right.
You know, it's stuff like this that makes me like fueled to do what I want to do because it's like we don't have a voice. Like we do. Sorry, I don't mean it like that. I'm gonna put an asterisk by that. When you put the captions in, put that asterisk. Like we we're always put the back burner. We're silenced, you know, and that's why it's important for people of our color to be at the forefront, to be at the table with the white people who are always there making decisions. Yeah, we have they have to hear us. Like we make up. I don't know. I don't think people know this, but most of the people that are in America are colored. Believe it or not. Right. Yes, believe it or not. And like, so we have to be the power. We have to be the majority. We have to be. There's power in numbers, and that's why I think voting is important as well. But there's again majority in numbers. There's power in numbers, and since we are the majority, even though we are the minority, you see how they make it seem like we are the minority. We have to step up, step out. We have to be loud. We have to be there. Go to a local protest. Go to like a school board meeting. Go any like little happening in your community. You should go. You should check it out. You should see what the hell they're talking about because it's important for you to know what's going on around you. Like this is literally directly affecting you, and I feel like it's so easy to just be like, "Oh yeah, whatever." It's just you know, right? Because we all have our own lives, and I get that. Because I obviously have a life outside of my work, but it's like when worse comes to worse, when you really read about what the hell is happening, it is fucked up. It is fucked up. I work with the Youth Success Project. That's the organization I work for, and we oversee people who have experienced unaccompanied homelessness from the age of 16 to 24. And for one, the rating is horrible here. Like New Hampshire is too rich to be having a housing crisis. I'll tell you that. Yeah. And another thing is like so the homeless barriers we have here, they pass bills all the time to just make it more dehumanizing about people just trying to live here. And that's like another thing. If someone that you know is homeless, like you have to know what they're going through. If you have any trans friends, you should know what they're going through. You should know what they're fighting for. Like I don't want to just be a person on this floating rock just doing nothing, not knowing anything, and just letting life just life me. Like no, I think you should step up and get out there, pick up a hobby, like and do something like that and just see what's going on because it's so much shit that you don't really know that goes on like in the background that is really important to know because it won't start affecting you till something that's like dear to you gets literally affected if you I mean
see, and that's what's crazy about what you're doing too, because like there's so many people on different levels in their life. Like there's people who can't even worry about voting just because they're worried about having to eat. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm pretty sure you heard of, you know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right?
Say that again.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
I don't.
So it's like people need like it's like you need like to be able to eat, like have food security and like home security before you can worry about
basic needs, right?
worrying about like oh your own social needs and then you know higher needs from that point on. So it's like I feel another reason why like we're so stuck is because like we're so like low on the pyramid of needs that we don't have time to worry about all this other stuff. Even though it affects us on our other levels. You know what I'm saying? So how do you feel like because I know you put in a lot of work in the community. So how do you get the community how do you work on like building community? Let me ask that. If you have the answer. It's because I've been asking everyone this question and like we've been trying, but like, you know, it's really hard to like I don't know, I guess pinpoint or like put something on how to like build a community that's productive that like grows together. You know what I'm saying? So how do you go about doing that?
I think the first step is truly identifying what community means to you, like not just textbook, like whatever it means, but like seeing like your community is the people that are around you that go through stuff that you'll go through, and people that you care about, your neighbors, even if you don't care about your neighbors, but your neighbors. And I think what like how we bring each other together is to educate each other, and that kind of goes back to my first point.
Yeah, no, I got you.
We have to educate each other. We have to. It all starts with also with resources. I feel like a lot of people don't know what's open to them because people like to shut it away for certain people like us, like
That makes
marginalized
sense.
communities.
That makes sense.
So, for example, for me, like I'm a vessel. I always think I've been used as a vessel. I'm not necessarily a Christian, but I know that I am put on this earth to be able to connect with people. I'm a
Got you.
vessel,
Feel that? Yeah.
right? So, like in that case, so when someone puts me on to something, and I'm like, oh my god, like people need to know this. It's then up to you to go and do your outreach. Tell as many people as you know. Like talk to people, get a consensus. Like be like, for instance, if someone's making a census on like, how do you feel about a certain political need or like the rates of whatever this is, and this is how we can change it. You take that information, you go to the next person who might be, experiencing it or knows people in a community. So say if it's like a homeless census, say if you know someone that's struggling with it, say if it's someone that lives on Manchester Street, so you know that they know everybody on that street. You tell that one person, and if it's like a resource too, they'll obviously be like, that's good. And then I'll tell the next person, and then it's like a chain. And as a holder of this knowledge, you should be spreading it with people. It's kind of selfish to keep it all to yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Especially being a black person, like if I know there's help and there's a way out, like black people are like this. We're like this. We're gonna help each other. We're gonna tell each other. We're gonna be like, hey, this place has this, and that. I've heard you needed that. They're helping with this. Hey, I heard that Eversource is giving deals on light bills. Like, you know what I mean? That's a way to do it. You get to know people, right? You befriend people. Like, obviously, you don't have to befriend everybody, and not everybody's worth befriending.
It's small in most cases.
But yeah, you just, and it's like people are like, oh, it's all about connections, networking. It's not. Okay, because again, I came from nothing. Literally came from nothing.
Ground zero.
Exactly. And I worked my way up. And now that I've acquired all these skills, I'm trying to pass them on to people so they can do the same thing that I'm doing to pass on to other people. That's a way to build community. As I was saying before, like me and my sister Grace, we're doing a block party soon. I think next year, or the year after that. That just is on like black built. I got you. You can probably perform there. We got you. We're gonna have like it's gonna be like black businesses, black everything. Of course, white people are allowed, but it's amplifying like our marginalized communities. That's another way to like connect each other. It's like we have to just be brought together. That's a big thing because I feel like what the system does, the American system, they separate us. That's what it's meant to do. That's what they want us to do.
Especially after COVID, like I saw they tripled down on that right after COVID too, and like understandably in some ways, but like I don't know, like I think COVID really separating people so hard that like it's hard to really like build anything from this point on. Even like just the way like social media and our culture moves like from that point on, like it's always been like about individual. Everyone's worried about themselves. Like they like kind of washed out like community in that kind of aspect when it comes to when it came to that whole quarantine like era of things.
Yeah, I feel like everybody lost their mind. I was sick during quarantine, but I will say I'm grateful. I know that sounds backwards again, asterisk, but because a lot of people, a lot of good came out of it too. Because like I feel like a lot of people learned to be by themselves.
Oh, it was great for me
as well, and people got to learn hobbies and like. That's what I'm saying. That definitely helped me because that's kind of where like my real spark happened, where I was like, oh shit, I know I want to do this. I feel like a lot of people here want to be known for something. I want to be known for something different. Like this, I want to be known for helping somebody. Like I've had so many people tell me, like, I don't know if y'all have ever had this happen to you, but I want to say this is the best feeling. Like when someone comes up to you and they genuinely tell you how much they've helped you and like specifically tell you how and why they've helped and like how you've helped them. That is one of the the greatest feelings ever.
No, I've had those experiences too.
I
Just
strive
my
for
music
it.
alone, and it's just like, wow, I can't just say anything. Like,
Yeah,
I'm really changing people's lives. I
gotta
gotta
be
be
like.
I really gotta pay attention to what I say because like I just know people. Yeah, not strike though.
That's true, but some people don't necessarily just listen. It's not just lyrics that help people, right? Sometimes it's like it's the vibe. It's like
the vibe alone could be more than enough for people. Definitely, yeah.
because you like if you think about it, people listen to like these rappers, like for example, NBA YoungBoy. He's talking about shooting people, and they're like, "Hey, he makes me feel good," and I get whatever. You know, music is like that, so it's like yeah. Sometimes the lyrics don't necessarily.
To my dishes in the morning.
Like,
Yeah.
country people be like, I'm gonna drink my ham and my beer. I said drink my ham, but anyway, they need something like that, and they're like, hey, that helped me today. I move forward today because that music touched me. People are like that with Taylor Swift. Right. Taylor Swift is like their fairy godmother. So
fairy godmother's crazy.
I mean,
that's my mom.
Yeah, literally. Like,
yeah,
people
relax,
fainting, passing out because Taylor Swift has helped them so much, and I get it. I get it. Yeah, no, I can definitely understand that though, cause like me, where I kind of try to be with my music, I kind of try to be like an older brother for some people who like didn't have that experience. You know what I'm saying? Cause like a lot of my friends, they didn't have like they probably just have a mom, no dad, or like you know they'd have like weird family situations. So like some of my friends, if they are in a gang, they were able to fill that need with like older brothers in that gang situation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, completely. So like, it's not like some of them got good out of it, but like you know sometimes it doesn't turn out as well. So like with my music, I try to like shed light to like those aspects of like kind of like the situation they might be in, and just let them know that there's more than what they have. You know what I'm saying? And that's so real. And you just asked me, what's a way to build community? That is a great way. Yeah. That is a great way to build community. That is so big. And that's why they have like big brother, big sister programs for like people that are in that position. But what a better way to do it than to connect with them with like music and stuff. Like that's another way to bring community together. Black people, we come from music. Like that is literally in our genes, in our blood, like in our bloodline. So that's a great way, and I think that does a lot. Like I love the big brother big sister thing, but I think that is also just as sorry, I'm blanking right now, but like just as important, or just as what I'm trying to say is like it's a great way, just as equal as a way to be able to build. There's different ways to get the same goal. Yeah, exactly. Yes. And also another thing I was gonna get into. So like me as a musician and like you as an activist, like what are some ways like you could see like people of like different backgrounds like collaborating to get that sort of goal like out for people. So like let's say like if you were to like work on something together, like kind of like how you brought up the block party. The block party, you know what I'm saying? So how are like what are like some like ways like other ways like maybe people like us could like collab in order to like bring the community together like in a bigger way. Cause like you know, two heads can be better than one another. Oh, it always is, and that's why I said there's power in numbers. I'm gonna keep saying that. I need to get a T-shirt that says that. To be honest, but yeah, stuff like that. So obviously, as an activist, we do a lot of like protesting. We do a lot of organization work, fundraisers, galas, stuff like that. So for a musician's perspective, as I was saying, like I just thought about that off the top of my head. Like you totally should perform at like a block party we're having for the community, or like if it's a person who does like nails or something. Like we want you to come promote your business at the block party. Because I mean I don't I mean if you want to bring your whole set to do someone's nails at the block party, that's all you and I. You know, do what you guys say that because like back in the day, you know the African Caribbean celebration at yes. Yes,
My mom
I
used
still
to
do
just
that.
my mom used to just go with cars, like just promoting it. It's like, yeah, do my
Yes.
hair.
His mom used to do my hair too, so I know she was putting in that work.
She did the whole hood's hair. I swear. What?
She did.
I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, exactly. And that's a good way to do that too. Especially because like again, there's a lot of people that don't know what resources are out there, and that's just like it crazes me because like as I got older, I realized that like as I'm older and I'm helping the people now instead of being in the position where I'm looking for help, I'm like, where were all these organizations and things for me when I needed it? It's like where were they? And it's because people are hiding it from us because they want it to help a certain demographic of people.
Exactly.
And so, yes, word of mouth is very, very, very highly, I would say, reactive. Yeah, because like if you tell one person, and again, as I was saying, that person tells the next person, and that person tells two other people, and then those two other people are already telling their own circle, and there's power in numbers. The more that we do that, I feel like the more that it works. But I feel like it also starts with just being educated to know what to talk about and again bringing each other from different walks of life like music and like trades and stuff like that. I literally just cannot think of anything but like come together, promote yourself, let us help you. Like we have a lot of festivals and stuff and people perform. We have DJs all the time and we have like, those little dancer group with the it can be like the African dancing groups or like some type of Latinx or like Hispanic groups and they're just promoting themselves. They're like, hey, we have dance classes, but also here's a show.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that is a beautiful way to bring each other together. And that was happening at the African Caribbean Festival. But who freaking cares? Let's call it a culture fest. Who cares?
Simple, like,
right? That's a way to just bring everybody. And I think it's important to learn each other because then we all know what each other go through. Like, can I just stop and say something? This is heavy on my mind. I just think it's crazy because Black people are so big. So we're obviously Black Lives Matter, right? But do you remember when like Asian hate was coming up? We were promoting like stop Asian hate and all that. But when the rules are reversed, do you think Asian people being like Black Lives Matter?
It happens with so many different things like black people do specifically, and she keeps repeating with
They call that the Mandela effect.
exactly. But like that's a thing too. That's why education is so important because like if you don't know same things keep happening, then it's like, yo, bro, I already seen this pattern before. Like I'm not letting you do this to me again. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't want to say like, oh, it's EBK, like everybody K. Like when it comes to like like black people helping themselves, but like you gotta help yourselves. Like you gotta focus on you. Like, and I'm not saying don't say stop Asian hate. You know what I'm saying? Support other cultures, support all your peoples. No, cool. But like at the end of the day, like you gotta focus on you, because at the end of the day, no one's gonna come and help you. You know what I'm saying?
And I agree with that because that's why they separate us and that's why there is that separate like what I'm saying. And America the great, like we're supposed to be together, but if anything it just pushed us further away.
Yeah.
Like all this the reason we had to make like Black Lives Matter a thing like in 2012 when Trayvon Martin got killed. Yeah. It's just like that's why, because you guys are trying to divide us already. You were saying that a man who shouldn't have been where he was, which why not? He had a house there, like deserved to die because you thought he was endangering you. Like the divide is crazy, and that's why we have to build a community, and that's why we need to learn other cultures and like because like a lot of times America, like although while I agree with you saying like we have to focus ourselves, regardless we're gonna get put on the back burner anyway.
Yeah.
When Europeans and the government and the stuff when they think of like marginalized community, they're not just thinking Black people, but they're just thinking colored people.
Exactly.
Like no matter what, they're just colored people, right? So anytime a colored person, we're kind of like in the same group, and I think that's why we should be building our community more because it's like eventually they're gonna do it to you too.
Because
like
we don't all have the same needs. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just the fact that we like most black people don't know their history like that alone, their own culture like that alone. Like we call ourselves black in America.
Mm,
We don't even call ourselves African. Like most people
that's
call us
true.
black, you know. So like
That's true.
just because we don't even have that part of our past culture, we've been making up out of whatever we could pick up from like post slavery on or whatever. So it's like a lot of just different stuff. That's like, but yeah, definitely, yeah, I understand your point though.
Yeah, and that was real too. I just thought about that, and that is so true. I feel like a lot of people don't say they're African American anymore. Like just black. It's just black. It's just black. That's always funny to me because I always talk about this. But like when you ask a white person, like, what are they? Right? They'll break it. They'll break it down to you, right? They'll be like, oh, I'm Irish, I'm Scottish, I'm Polish, I'm Danish, and then you'll they'll be like, what do you think I am? They'll be like, black. Okay, right. No, we got that though. You're right, but like, what else are you? They're just like, oh, well, what kinds of black? What kinds of black is there?
That's crazy, bro.
Like
That's crazy.
they just automatically just assume, they're just. But like, if you can think of us that way, that we're just all one thing, why don't you believe you were a part of it too? Eventually, in the beginning of time, right? Like the logic on white people does not make sense sometimes because it's like, how can all of us just be derived from one place, but y'all are just completely exempt from that same place? But half of y'all, but 98% of y'all believe in the Bible, and the Bible says that we came from Africa.
Right. But then like, go back to where you came from.
So you gonna come with me? Cause we all like, look like you in a refugee camp with me, and before Christ, like. No, it is crazy, and I could go on just explaining how white people don't make sense all day. um, that's definitely another reason why I do what I do because white people can't always think that they're right for the rest of eternity. They can't, and eventually, I'm hoping that in the history of America, probably not anytime close to when we're alive, that we will overthrow the government. We will.
That's probably gonna. I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen that soon.
It's not.
It probably won't. A lot of things happen slow, but and I don't even think it's gonna be like an overthrow. It'll probably be like I don't know.
Make everything bankrupt.
It's not even like that. It'll be a little more like, hey, I've been seeing a lot of rich black people lately. You know, like it's just gonna come slow and like real subtle. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, this don't make the same money as me. You both here right now. You know, simple little head nod. You know, go about your day. All of a sudden, you start seeing more. Like that's what I can explain it. I've been up here my whole life. You know, Manchester, New Hampshire. I took a trip to Florida. I just see black people everywhere.
That is a trend. What
That was the first time I ever felt like, I'm like, yo, I'm not alone out here, bro. Like, there's people, like, there's actually colored people out here.
Real.
So like, imagine that whole feeling, but like, we all just like made it out. Wow, good. You know, someone's kids are good. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to look at someone and be like, man, they're struggling. I'm struggling too. We're all struggling. You know, I hate him. I hate you. We're all struggling. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, at the end of the day, this it's just gonna be like a self-love thing, I feel like.
And that's what equity is derived from. Like there's no equality without equity, and that's basically what equity is. It's like when we're all at the same place where we don't have to worry about if our next paycheck can cover, like if we're gonna still survive. Like, you know what I mean? When everybody's getting paid a livable amount and don't have to worry about that, that's when that will happen. And that is when our government will start to like, because then we'll be our own government. Like, we'll have the power to do anything we want.
They're gonna be trying to like enforce some of these things. I was like, man, we ain't doing none of that.
I got money. Fuck it.
You know what I'm saying? I got money.
Right. I gotta do that. I go to an island.
And niggas will tell you, niggas will tell you if they're not doing something, they're not doing that. Like, simple, like.
Get somebody else to do it, alright? Because it ain't gonna be me.
Exactly.
Great.
That's crazy.
And again, I feel like it eventually will happen, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. And when you said that, because I was thinking, I was like, you're right, because again, because people don't want to put in the work to do it. Like they just want to complain and just see shit happen, but it's like you're gonna complain you want money. Are you gonna just sit there and bet, or are you gonna get a job because you need money?
And the only reason I say it, I feel like, because I feel like I'm not gonna say it recently became cool to be black, but I feel like it cool to be black public. Say that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like it kind of recently just became cool to be black. So that, but like, bro, my whole life growing up,
You've been black.
my, I didn't know what. So it's like, that's why I say the change is gonna happen slow, but
I would agree with that. Like it's been recently where people have been like really stepping on the N word recently, trying to be like what we what we try to like to be seen how we think we should be seen. And it's like, but y'all wasn't treating us like that. Y'all not treating us like that. It's only that you want to be black or we're black or we're good enough when it's something that's good for you.
you know what I'm saying?
Like it's only good to be black when you can take our hairstyles and our and like I just and when you can get lip filler and like I don't understand that because as kids a lot of us and a lot of black kids go through this crisis, this identity crisis, and it's like a lot of us as kids didn't want to be black because of how we were treated, or for instance, we're dark. A lot of kids that were our skin tone or darker wanted to be lighter because that was the thing. Like colorism is a very strong.
Or even just smelling like cocoa butter, bro. Bro, like, I don't know, bro. Like, it's a small things, man. It's like how you want me to smell like a dog, bro. Like,
cocoa is a good smell too. Like what you're right. What you want to smell? Smell. They want us to smell like a slave. That's what they want. That's what they want. And it's like that's it just yeah. It's that was real because like now people want to be black all of a sudden, but being black wasn't cool when we couldn't wear a certain hairstyle that we currently have to wear way back then.
And not
when our
all,
grandparents
and not all
couldn't
white
do that.
people were on this, of course, but like,
I love that
you
disclaimer.
niggas that were on this kind of shit, you know who you were, right? Just, I don't know, bro. It was just corny activities, bro.
No, I still see it to this day too, especially living here.
Definitely.
As you said, like when you go to somewhere else and you see all these black people, you're like, holy shit, it's a whole nother world. You can go an hour on a plane outside of here in Philadelphia, and there's mostly black people just walking on the street. I felt like I was literally in a different country when I went on my work trip, and I was just looking around. And I lived in Pennsylvania too, at a point. Like I lived in like white Pennsylvania, like far Pennsylvania, but like I went to Philadelphia and I just looked around and people are probably like, "What the fuck is she looking at?" Because I'm just like in a trance, like, holy crap. I just counted 15 black people in a row that just passed me and was like, "What's up?" Like,
that was so funny you say that. But I was in, because I took a trip with Chantel to Florida, right? I go to I was like, hey man, so you Haitian? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm Haitian too. And I'm like, as soon as I walked out the spot, it clicked in my head. I'm like, yo, I'm being weird. Like, this is
this is weird. That like this is regular for them and abnormal for me, especially in Florida because that is where Haitian people migrated to.
There's just Z's everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone's speaking Creole and Spanish. I'm just like,
yeah,
this is
that's
crazy.
too. It's like Hispanic people like in Miami and stuff, and then like yeah, black people Orlando.
I'm like, bro, I don't even know my language like that. Like, y'all just be like, in America, speaking your own language, like that's crazy. Like,
because they're not. I mean, they're afraid. I bet they're afraid, especially but they're like. I feel like that's them taking their power back. Like that's a place that they were able to like migrate and be at least okay. I can't say good because it's always scary to be someone coming from a different country, but like
definitely.
they're taking that and putting power back in it by speaking their language. Because when these white people are like, "Here in America, speak our language,"
Yeah, that's so corny to me, bro.
but then they go to their country. And then the people that are there are they're accepting them as tourists.
The
and then
utmost respect.
literally, that's what's so wrong. Because how you gonna say that to somebody, but you want to go to Jamaica to get braids done? by Jamila over here. Like it doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense. It's
definitely.
We could have a whole nother episode just talking about white
No cap.
white people because I could go off and I'm not racist. I'm just a realist. And y'all need to know what the fuck y'all be doing and y'all need to start taking accountability and y'all need to start being allies. I just want to say I have a bunch of great white friends who are actually allies and that aren't passive aggressive. Like, you know, a lot of people that swear that they're for us and then they do something.
Yeah.
For example, I was on the phone with an old friend of mine and she's whiter than white. And she, whiter than white, whiter than that. So, right there, okay? We were talking and she's just like ranting, Cole, get it off your chest. She happened to, it didn't even slip. Okay, when she said this, I want to preface this by saying, you already know.
I already know.
Yes, she didn't even slip. She meant to say it, and she later then affirmed that she meant to say it. She was talking about how someone said something to her, and she said that she said to him, "Nigga, please," like nigga twice. And I just stopped in my tracks. I was cleaning my room. And then I started getting heart palpitations. I started getting hot.
Yeah.
Like you know how like those cartoon characters you start steaming out of your ears and stuff. That's what I was feeling, and I was just stuck. And she just kept continuing, and then I cut her the fuck off, and I was like, "What made you think you could just openly say that to me,
You know what I'm saying?
to me on the phone?" And she was like, "Oh well, no, like you know how they are, passive aggressive. No, like I didn't mean it like that. That's exactly
and it's like,
what did you mean by it? Right? But then she
why are you
prefaced by
making it
saying,
so? Yeah, nah. But yeah, continue. I got you.
then she prefaced by saying, then she was like it was in the moment. It was kind of like a nigga what moment. And I said, how is it ever a nigga what moment to you when you're not a nigga?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
How is there ever like what makes you like what makes you want to have that in your vocabulary? You're not a nigga. You're not a nigga.
you know,
You're as white as my walls. Like you're not a nigga. I'm just
you know, I heard some guy explain it like this. He's like, all right. I know you might not be able to, like, he's like, I know some of you might be able to understand this, but if, let's say it like this, if someone who isn't my wife calls me honey, that's inappropriate. No matter how you cut it, it's just inappropriate. So if you're not black, inappropriate.
I see what you're saying. Okay, I switched it in my brain. I was like, a white person said that.
No.
That makes no sense.
He was black. He was trying to explain. He's like, yo,
To the person
To the
that's
person.
saying it to you. Okay, because I was like, as a white person, that makes no fucking sense. But as a black person, that does completely make sense because that's true. That's so true. I should start saying it like that too. But at the same time, I can't say it to people like that because it's like just flat out like why do you feel the need to say it? Why do you want to? Because you want to be a nigga and that's when we're acceptable to you is when you can steal our slang. What we do, our hairstyle, our hair texture, our lips, our face.
And so and some dudes be saying that at work too, and I just be like, see, I could crash out right now, but you might not get a check after today, so you know what I'm saying? Cause I'm like the one black kid there.
Yeah, I felt that.
Maybe a couple like Mexicans, Dominicans, but you know what I'm saying? So like, say, hey man, you got today. You want?
I feel like also because if white people say other things to other races and they're not affected by it, that they think that gives them an okay to do it to us because they think automatically, well, if I can say spick or whatever, excuse me, or any other kind of derogatory slang about any other, you know, culture or whatever, and they accept it because it's just like, hey, we're cool. That means I can do it to you too. No. Did I say you could say that to me? No, and you're not a nigga. So respectfully, you should respect what the hell I'm saying to you, telling you that you shouldn't say it, why you shouldn't say it. We can educate these people all they want and tell them why they shouldn't be saying it, and telling them that like it's not a word for y'all. It's a word that we took back and put power into, so that power is no longer held on your tongue. When you should not be saying it. We need a word for white people. Like Crocker doesn't do enough for me, quite frankly.
You seen TikTok? They made a list.
Mayonnaise Martian, sour cream soldier. Like I just need something that hurts. Because when you be like, well, you be fucking their cousin, like that's really just too true to them, and that's and they're in the back of their head, they're like, so
That's crazy.
like nothing hurts them because they have no shame, and that's just it's just really nuts to me because it's like, and it's like it doesn't hurt us for you to call us nigga, like it's just like it's like you should it's strange.
Oh no.
And you should and it just makes us think like, wow, you're still trying to be like us, you're still trying to take what you were already taken from us for over 2,000 years. Like just a word, y'all can't let that go either. Y'all can't let slavery go, racism go. Like come on, they don't want to give us nothing, even if we started with it, because they have that much power to take it and rebrand it into something and call it theirs.
Yeah. But let's get on a different tangent, right? So leadership, right? I know a lot of your life like events led you to getting to this point of taking a leadership role in the community. So I kind of want to say like, what kind of like skills do you feel like it takes to be in a position that you're in, and like how did you end up developing these skills? So I know like education, like knowing how to educate yourself is definitely going to be one of them, because like you had all these books like to teach yourself to get to this point, but like I guess you could say like what like skills do you use like on a daily, you know?
Yeah. Delegation
Mm.
is a big one. Facilitation is another big one. You have to have some type of people skill, of course. I also feel like you just need to know how to talk to people, like because the way that you approach someone and talk to them will help. Like, you have to feel like you're warm and welcoming. So definitely people skills. What other skills?
How do you develop your people skills? You think you're just born with it?
My mama. My mama. she's she's a she's a character. And I definitely got that from her. I've always been so I've always been half and half. I'm still pretty reserved, but when I need to be, I'm outgoing. And I think I just learned how to delegate them and like know when to be reserved when I need to be reserved, but also know when to reach out when I need to reach out. I am a person who's actually never usually been, you know, that person that wouldn't ask for help and I knew I needed it. So definitely that. People skills also being black working in white America. You gotta learn how to like code switch. You gotta learn how to if you don't want to be fired, you have to know how to deal with people, even if they're talking to you some type of way, or even though I'm not saying that you should let it happen, because depending on what job it is, get fired, okay? Because no one should be trying to take away your dignity, period. But anyway, you gotta learn, like you have to learn, especially growing up, and say if it's like a job that you really need, you're gonna have to know to just keep your tongue, like just hold your tongue, and like still just being like, okay, well, okay, have a nice, not even like that, but like still helping, and still being able to help someone with what they need. So that was a big part.
Yeah.
And delegation, facilitation. I'm trying to think of what other skills. I'm just a like, I'm just a very hopeful person. I think
so. The drive, so you just having the drive to be able to like go those lengths, because like I know you had times where you're like, man, it's not working out, or da da, but you still got to push through, like so like just having that kind of like mindset of like pushing through even when it doesn't look like it's going in your favor.
Yes, and I would say a lot of it ties back into everything I said because it really is just a big circle. But like, if people understood what people like what we go through, I feel like for at least personally for me, this really does fuel me, the drive, and sometimes it angers me and it fuels me enough to be like, I have to do something about this to change this. I don't want to deal with this for 70 more years of my life.
Exactly.
So yeah, drive, determination, motivation, and it's hard. It is hard. This work it's
yeah, I know you
kind of.
I see it, and even some of like these like ceremonies like me and Chantel will go with you, like we'll try like a lot, like
I know
like oh my god, your best friend, I don't even remember his name, but like
Harvey.
you know, your best friend, your twin, right?
My twin, he was white, basically. It said black on his birth certificate, but he was white from the Caucasus Mountains, okay?
Yo, that dude, he's like, man, you can't show fear, man. You can't show fear. I'm like, man, get out of here, dog. I don't know what you're talking about. You're a crash out. Like,
and you know what? That's the thing, though. He said, you can't show fear, but it's easier for him because he's white passing. There was a clear determinant, like a clear like separation between that. Like we didn't even remember we were talking. We didn't even know he was black until after.
Like if him and his boy were getting jumped, they're not swinging, stomping on him, bro. Like, nah, it's not working like that. But you know, they'll find out just like we did. No cap.
For real, he really was the number one crash out. Like, how are you 94?
Oh, no, bro. 94 crash.
Oh my god. Yes. I would also say so. I just got back into school, so
Oh, that's fine.
yes, I was out of high school for 8 years, and there was a reason I said that. But what was your question again? Let me see if I can type that back in.
So people trying, like how do you deal with adversity, stuff like that. But you can go to high school.
Well, what you were asking me before, it was something along like what the leadership and what brings me to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I don't even know. I don't know where I was going with that, but now y'all know.
Talk about though. You said high school?
Yes. So I got expelled from 3 high schools growing up. And that's when I did get emancipated by that time. I don't know. I just always dealt with adversity, and you know, hard times, of course. And that was, I guess, school was another thing that made me like understand that I needed to further my education because where I was getting it wasn't enough because I was dealing with so much adversity that I couldn't even focus on if anything was being taught to me and be worried about how other people were treating me.
Yeah.
It's also hard to be a new kid in a new school, always, and especially if you're in a predominantly white place, which happened to me a lot. And I always started something for someone, and I was always like, no matter what, no matter where you go, when you're new, you're trying to put on a good impression first, so like,
Yeah.
and no matter what, still, it's like, it usually goes the other way. Like, people saw me how they saw me, and
that's it.
That's it. Really, that's it. And it's unfortunate because it's like people have so much more to them than just like what's on the outside. And like, I never got to get a full education because I was either getting bullied, I was fighting people because they were trying to bully me, like, and I got, kicked out of school a few times. So I'm going back into school now. And I'm learning political science, but I figure now I'm just doing statistics, like a math major, and it's just I just learn a lot when you like I'm actually learning more back on like social studies and history and stuff, and I'm like, oh wow, this is so fucking fake. Every time I read it, I'm like, oh, this is so fake. So I feel like that also is another thing that makes me want to like actually learn how things go because like as you're older, so when you're in school, they teach you the white American way. That's the way that you're thinking is supposed to go. But then as you get older, you actually learn what really is, and you're like, oh shit. Yeah. And then I think that fuels me more to try to do research, and then I'm educated in it more. And then so it also fuels me because like when I'm on a panel or something, it's it's hard for me when I'm sitting there and it's like I don't know what they're talking about because they're talking about all these things that I wasn't necessarily taught. So definitely I would advise people to like if they hear something and they don't know about it, like immediately read into it. Because then you'll know and then going forward you can like apply it to your daily life. I think that also helps me with what I do because every day you learn something like and you always keep growing, you never stop growing. And I think a lot of people think that there's like an end to it, like once you're or like same with healing, once you're healed, once you grew a little bit, you grew.
Oh,
it doesn't exactly. It doesn't end until you die. Like, so in a way that you do that is being smarter every day. Like, you know, they say you learn something new every day. Some of y'all niggas ain't taking that for real, okay? Because every day I truly try to learn something new. I want to be better than the person I was yesterday. I want to try to take another step towards my end goal every day. So every time I hear something and I'm like, ooh, you know, especially when it's on social media, I'm like, oh, let me look that up. Yeah. And I don't trust just one source. You literally just research it and then you see. And that helps me because then now I'm prepared for like my next meeting and I'm like, I can bring this up and I'm like, oh my God, I learned this. How does this happen to me in everyday life? And what do people do to change it or to adhere to like to flip the script about it? And that's another thing that keeps me determined. What also keeps me determined is because I think this would be the main thing because I have been through all the things that I fight for. And I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm on the other side of it now, where I would say that I've overcame it. Obviously, you don't overcome adversity. Yeah, no, you don't. You can't overcome imposter syndrome, but like I'm still dealing with it. Yeah. Oppression, stuff like that. I don't feel like I'm obviously past that, but because I'm on a side where it's like I understand it now, I can help people that were in my position that was lost in the world, and it's like that definitely gives me a spark every day because I wish I could have been. I wish I was a person to me that was telling me things, that was teaching me things, was letting me know that there's resources and like that it's not the end. Like if you're going through maybe homelessness or you know anti-trans rights, like people are treating you bad because is whatever the case may be. I always think people should have that person that's always there that can be like, let me help you because I know a person that knows a person, or I know this place that can help you with this, or like for like harm reduction, drug abuse, stuff like that, addiction, like it fuels me every day. I also meet so many different people in so many different walks of life that it humbles me so much because although I'm black, sometimes I think that we get the worst of everything because which we I'm not gonna. As a collective, we do it, especially as a black woman. Okay, yeah. I do, but at the same time, I am truly humbled because other people in different marginalized communities also go through certain things to the same extent as we do, just in a different way. Yep. Like transgender people and people that are homeless and people that are addicts. Like, so that always fuels me because everybody deserves representation. Like when you're going to court, that's what they say to you. You get representation regardless. Like someone, like you cannot be prosecuted unless you have fair trial. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's basis of that. Like you, everybody, everybody deserves representation. Everybody deserves to be heard. Like you don't. I would hate for like people to just live their life feeling regretful and like feeling sad and like being or just ending their life prematurely because they're like there's nothing to it, there's nothing more. Exactly. So I think that that's just my basis because I've been there in all those places and I'm finally on a side that's like I can see the other side. I can see the glass half full instead of half empty now. So it's like now I can be there for people. Now I can educate people. You know.
Yeah, definitely. What's your time looking like? Cause I know you got things to do.
Probably like 5 minutes.
That's it. Just make sure it's.
That's a good. That's true. Oh my god, that's true.
All right, smooth. Surprisingly, it's been like an hour.
And we, oh, I could honestly, Keisha, bro. Like I'm really passionate about this. I think my end goal, putting an asterisk, so again, there's really not an end goal. Since I was a kid, I used to want to be a lawyer. Yeah. And I used to want to create an innocence project for Black people. So an innocence project is these pro bono lawyers who try to exonerate Black people or colored people who have been wrongfully accused that either got put on death row or got like a life sentence or even just wrongly accused and got a sentence that was obviously a lot worse than what they were supposed to. And I live by the Eighth Amendment. which is the right to that people are so, like when they get charged, they're supposed to be charged fairly and appropriately, and that's what the Americans. I mean, sorry, that's what the Constitution abides by. But we know that's not true because black people and colored people go through that all the time. People get marijuana charges that are like 10 years, while a white person will get a coke charge for 2.
Crazy.
So exactly.
Yeah.
So my end goal, well, not my end goal, my yes, I'm gonna say my end goal because that's how I know I made it in life, and that's when I'll be happy is if I can help people get out of prison or people that have been wrongfully accused get out of prison, especially as colored people, and to just lift our people up, lift our voices, lift every voice. There's a power in numbers. Bring each other together. We have to be together, especially in light of the recent election.
Yeah, that's far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else? Is there anything you're working on, like currently, like projects?
Yes. So, I mean, the reason why we're doing a podcast is because I was supposed to be doing a podcast for my project, for my internship.
Are you really?
Yeah. That's actually the question. Turns out, so I'm supposed to be doing that. I don't want to do it anymore, guys, because it is so hard to find people that like believe the same things as you and have the same that like understand why you want to do what you want to do, and like get them to come and speak their mind on these things. I feel like a lot of people our age are scared to do stuff like that.
Definitely.
So that's the project I'm working on.
No, Cal, I think if you had a podcast, it'd be so far. Like I'd actually listen to.
Thank you.
Cause look, right? I know we're doing this. Like I get like all my podcast episodes. I always get a little scared just beforehand, just cause like I have nothing to say. You know what I'm saying? But like with you, like you have like you're really good at like you have really good conversation skills. So like
I'm a conversationalist.
So
that's one of my skills.
I know people might be scared to say what they have to say about certain things, but like I think like you'd be able to warm them up to like even if it's a little piece here there. You know what I'm saying? Your audience is gonna get what they get out of it. They're gonna peep the all the things. But I really think like you'd be really successful doing a podcast, and I think it would just do great for like the community work that you're doing and all that stuff.
Thank you. I really appreciate that because I was worried because I was like, ooh, no one's gonna want to listen to a podcast on matters. It's called New Hampshire Matters right now, guys. It's boring. It sounds boring, but like I'm funny. It can be funny. Like you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh at serious things. But I also think like again, people are ignorant often just want to. It's hard to get them to be in community and stuff like this because again, especially at this age, they're like, oh, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't. But you still gotta. It's still important to know. So I want to kind of try to like mix them together. What's a way that younger people will listen but also not get bored? So that's what that's why I was like, oh, podcasts. We love podcasts. That's our people our age. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do that. It's gonna kind of be like a talk show, actually. So
you know what I'm saying? Cause like, for example, like that whole situation that we're talking about, like, oh, that one friend at work, or like how my work story, whatever, right? About someone like saying, just being weird, strange. People like wake up I drop these in the morning, right? So when you're at work, you're just listening. They're going through these situations in life, like they can use these skills. So like I just try to use these. I try to make these podcasts just so people can like take lessons from like people like you and just apply it.
Apply it.
You get them past the roadblocks.
That's
and like
the thing. Because you can hear it. We can say to you, you can't. What is that saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, or something like that.
Exactly.
So I can put all this information in your head, but it's up to you and in your mindset. Like, is it worth me trying to make a change or do it or put my foot in the door to do it? It's up to you. And I feel like sometimes it can be scary, but like to me, it's worth it. I don't want to live my life in fear. Until I'm 8 years old.
You can lead by example, though. So like, monkey see, monkey do. Probably a bad example.
I was gonna say that's bad for us to go back. That's alright.
You know what I'm saying? Like, basically speaking on what you want to speak on, and then like, more people will be open up. And it always starts small. Like, I started a whole new page for this. It has like 26 followers or something. But like, slowly people are really enjoying these. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
I agree.
For season finale, I'm happy with this.
Woo! Woo! Yeah. Yeah, thank you for having me. This gave me great practice. I thought I was gonna be nervous. I don't know why. I can talk forever.
Bro, I'm telling you, I get nervous every time I have these things. So it's like, it'd be my own people.
Right?
I'm
I
like,
know.
I'm like, yo.
I saw Tapio on here. I was just watching your thing the other day.